Welcome back to the channel. Today we bring you an exclusive, gripping story of boundaries, hidden greed, and the ultimate family showdown. Imagine spending 5 years being treated like an invisible servant in your own home, only to discover a plot to sell the very roof over your head. This is the story of Margaret, a 66-year-old widow who decided that enough was enough. When her demanding daughter-in-law unceremoniously announced that 25 relatives were arriving for Christmas, expecting Margaret to do all the heavy lifting, Margaret planned a surprise of her own, a calculated disappearance that would trigger the total collapse of an empire of lies. Let's dive into part 1. Perfect. That was the exact word I told my daughter-in-law Tiffany when she swept into my kitchen that Tuesday in December, announcing that 25 members of her extended family were coming to spend Christmas at my house. "I'm going on vacation," I replied calmly. "You all can do the cooking and cleaning. I am not the maid." Her face went pale, as if she had seen a ghost. But what she didn't know was that the real surprise was just beginning. My name is Margaret. I am 66 years old, and for the last 5 years, I have been treated like a servant in my own home. It all started when my son Kevin married that woman. From the very first day, Tiffany decided I was her personal employee. "Margaret, get me some coffee. Margaret, clean this up. Margaret, cook for my guests." And I, like a fool, always obeyed. I thought it was how I could keep my family together, but I had reached my limit. That Tuesday, Tiffany was wearing a ridiculously expensive red dress, undoubtedly paid for with my son's money. Her heels clicked against my ceramic tile like little hammers on my last nerve. "Margaret," she said in that condescending tone she reserved for me, "I have marvelous news. My entire family is coming to spend Christmas here. It's only 25 people. Only 25 people." As if that were a small number. As if I were a machine designed for cooking and cleaning. She settled into my kitchen chair, crossed her legs, and began to list them off. Her sister Valeria, her cousin Evelyn, her brother-in-law Marco, her uncle Alejandro. "Of course you'll handle everything," she added, expecting my usual panicked submission. "The food, the cleaning, serving the tables. We'll need 3 turkeys at least and that chocolate silk pie you make. Oh, and you'll have to decorate the entire house for the Instagram photos." She waited for my typical, "Yes, Tiffany." But this time something inside me had shattered for good. I looked her directly in the eye. "Perfect," I repeated. "It will be a perfect Christmas for you all because I won't be here." "Exactly what you heard. I'm going on vacation. You all can cook, clean, and serve yourselves." Tiffany's jaw dropped. "This is ridiculous. Kevin is not going to allow this. Kevin can have whatever opinion he likes, but the decision has been made," I said. For the first time I was in control. But what she didn't know, what none of them knew, was that my decision wasn't spontaneous. I had been planning this for months, and I had explosive reasons that would soon leave them all completely ruined. What dark secrets had Margaret uncovered in her son's home office that turned a submissive grandmother into a calculated mastermind? Find out in the next part. Tiffany's expression morphed from shock to absolute fury. She stepped toward me, invading my personal space. "You know what, Margaret? I always knew you were selfish. My family is coming from far away, and you're going to ruin their Christmas over a whim." "A whim?" 5 years of mistreatment, and she called it a whim. I remained serene. "That's not my problem. You should have consulted me before inviting 25 people to my house." "Our house?" she shrieked, losing her composure. "Kevin is your son. This house will be ours one day." There it was. The ugly truth had finally been spoken aloud. She saw me as a temporary obstacle before she inherited everything I had built. Just then, keys turned in the front door. Kevin was home. Tiffany ran to him like a child tattling to a parent. "Kevin, your mother has gone insane. She says she's going on vacation and leaving us alone with my entire family." Moments later, Kevin appeared in the kitchen doorway, looking tired and annoyed. "Mom," he began in that patronizing tone, "Tiffany told me about your decision. Don't you think you're being a little dramatic? It's Christmas, a time for family. Tiffany can't cook for 25 people by herself." Then hire a caterer, I suggested with a sweet smile. Catering costs a fortune, Kevin exclaimed. Why spend thousands of dollars when you can? He stopped abruptly, realizing what he was about to say. When I can do it for free, I finished for him. Like the unpaid employee you think I am. Kevin sighed, attempting a softer approach. Look, Mom, I know you've been a bit sensitive lately. Maybe you're going through some hormonal changes. Reducing my righteous anger to a hysterical menopausal phase was the last straw. There is nothing hormonal about this, Kevin. This is about respect. All right, Mom, Kevin muttered. But think about it. It's just 1 week. Everything goes back to normal after. No, Kevin. Things are not going back to normal because I'm leaving tomorrow. I already have everything arranged. Tiffany paced the kitchen like a caged animal. Tomorrow? Impossible. Where are you even going? I'm going to visit my sister in Miami, I lied smoothly. And I'll be back after New Year's. But we don't have the money for a caterer or a hotel. Kevin intervened, stressed. The deposit on the new apartment wiped out our savings. My eyes narrowed. What new apartment? Tiffany and Kevin exchanged a guilty look. Kevin rubbed his neck. Well, we found an incredible place downtown. 3 bedrooms, ocean view, gym. We were going to tell you after the holidays. And how do you plan to pay for it? I asked. Tiffany's face suddenly lit up. That's why a perfect Christmas is so important. My uncle Alejandro is very generous when he's impressed, and Marco has connections in real estate. If everything goes well, they will fund Kevin's business expansion, which pays for the lease. It wasn't about family tradition at all. It was a corporate ambush, and I was supposed to be the free labor enabling it. I see, I murmured. So you need me to slave away to impress your rich relatives for cash. My decision stands. I leave tomorrow. Tiffany exploded. This is emotional blackmail. You are manipulating us. No, Tiffany. Emotional blackmail is making me feel guilty for 5 years because I don't want to clean up after your messy parties. My bags are packed. That night, as they argued in desperate whispers downstairs, I locked my bedroom door and opened my laptop. It was time to activate the second phase of my plan. A trap designed around a hidden folder I had found 3 months ago. What did Margaret find inside that forgotten legal folder? And how did she secretly contact Tiffany's wealthy uncle to completely flip the script? Stay tuned for part 3. 3 months earlier, while helping clean Kevin's home office, I had stumbled upon a forgotten folder. Inside were bank statements, secret credit cards opened in Kevin's name without his knowledge, personal loans using my house as unapproved collateral, and luxury shopping debts exceeding $50,000. Worse yet, there were printouts of email threads where Tiffany discussed with her friends how to keep Kevin distracted so he wouldn't discover her spending habits, and a chilling plan to convince him to sell my house, the home I built with 30 years of hard labor, to clear her debts. The next day, I hired a discreet private detective. We uncovered that Tiffany's prestigious boutique career was a minimum wage, part-time gig, despite her telling Kevin she made 6 figures. To maintain the illusion of a wealthy, highly successful lifestyle to her family, she had told her uncle Alejandro that Kevin's business was booming and that I had a massive fortune. Sitting in the dark, I smiled. I had already legally moved my savings to an offshore account Kevin couldn't touch, and my lawyer secured my home's deed, so it could never be sold without my signature. But my masterstroke? I emailed Uncle Alejandro, Sister Valeria, and brother-in-law Marco directly. I introduced myself as a concerned mother-in-law, politely asking for financial advice regarding the couple's delicate debt situation, and accidentally attached the real bank statements. The reaction was immediate. Alejandro was furious at being deceived. Valeria, who worked in finance, threatened to fly in early to sort out her sister's fraudulent life. But they played along, waiting for the Christmas gathering to confront her. My phone buzzed. It was a fresh text from Alejandro. Mrs. Margaret, after reviewing the files, my family has decided to arrive a day earlier, the morning of the 23rd. We want to confront Tiffany before the holiday. Can you receive us? I replied, It will be a pleasure, Alejandro. However, I will be leaving for my vacation that exact morning, so Tiffany and Kevin will be your sole hosts. The next morning at 6 a.m., my anthem of freedom rang. I carried my suitcases downstairs while the couple slept. On the kitchen table, I left a simple note. Have decided to leave early. The house is in your hands. Enjoy your perfect Christmas. Margaret. Before stepping into my taxi, I executed my final touch. I entirely emptied the pantry and refrigerator. I locked away all my fine china, designer tablecloths, and holiday decorations inside my bedroom. Lastly, I canceled the luxury maid service that I paid for, but for which Tiffany always took credit. Let her see what running a house actually takes. By 10:47 a.m., I was checked into a high-end luxury resort an hour away, sipping tea with an ocean view. My phone rang. It was Kevin, sounding entirely panicked. Mom, where are you? The pantry is empty, the kitchen is bare, and Tiffany is having a full-blown meltdown. Good morning, Kevin, I said smoothly. I am simply enjoying my vacation. You two are fully functional adults. I am certain you can solve your own problems. I hung up and ordered room service, completely shutting off my main line. The stage was set. At 8 a.m. the next morning, Uncle Alejandro and the entire family were scheduled to walk through the front door. How did Tiffany handle a house with zero food, paper plates, and an angry wall of wealthy investors? The climax unfolds next. The morning of December 23rd arrived. When I temporarily switched on my phone to check the voicemail logs, the desperation was historical. Voicemail 1, Kevin, 6:30 a.m. Mom, please answer. The grocery stores are closed. The family is arriving in 15 minutes, and we have literally nothing to feed them. Voicemail 2, Tiffany, 6:45 a.m. Margaret, I'm begging you, don't make me look bad. I don't know how to cook for 25 people. Where is the food? Where is the china? Voicemail 3, Alejandro, 7:15 a.m. Mrs. Margaret, we landed early and are heading straight to the house. Looking forward to our chat. At 8:20 a.m., I picked up a live call from Kevin. His voice was trembling. Mom, they are here. There is nothing to offer them. Tiffany is sobbing in the bathroom. What do I tell them? Tell them the truth, Kevin. Tell them your unpaid servant retired. But Uncle Alejandro keeps asking where the matriarch of hospitality is. Tiffany told them you organized this entire event. I am on vacation, Kevin. Order takeout. I hung up. Next, I opened my email to find messages from Valeria and Alejandro. Valeria wrote, Margaret, the house looks completely abandoned. There is no food, no decorations, and Tiffany's excuses make no sense. What is happening? I replied to both. Dear Alejandro and Valeria, the financial documents I sent you are only half the reality. If you want to help Tiffany, have a frank conversation with her right now about her spending habits, her secret credit cards, and her claims regarding my inheritance. Within 20 minutes, my hotel room landline rang. It was Alejandro. Mrs. Margaret, I need the direct truth. Did Tiffany force you to do all the labor for 5 years? Yes, Alejandro. Every event you attended, I cooked and cleaned from scratch while she took the praise. And the debt statements? Completely authentic. Culled from my son's office. I see. Alejandro's voice turned to pure ice. My family owes you an apology. She used our names to borrow over $20,000 from cousins in the States, claiming your house was her collateral. This holiday is no longer a celebration. It is an immediate family intervention. Later that evening, Valeria emailed me an update. The reality was pure poetry. Tiffany had been forced to order greasy pizza for 25 wealthy corporate relatives, serving it on paper towels because my high-end plates were locked away. Kevin had finally been shown the secret credit cards and identity fraud documents. He was in complete shock, realizing his entire marriage was built on a financial sinkhole. The family was calling in all personal loans immediately, canceling Kevin's business funding, and cutting Tiffany off completely. The final move belonged to Margaret. On the morning of Christmas Eve, she returned to her fortress with her attorney to deliver a legal final blow that Tiffany would never recover from. On the morning of December 24th, I packed my bags at the resort and dialed my attorney Robert. Are the updated files ready? Perfectly notarized, Margaret, he replied. Meet you at the house. At 10 a.m., my taxi dropped me off at my home. I unlocked the front door and stepped inside. The chaotic living room fell into dead silence. Kevin looked broken, with deep dark circles under his eyes. Tiffany sat on the couch with no makeup, wrinkled clothing, and eyes swollen from hours of intense interrogation. Uncle Alejandro stood sternly by the mantel, alongside Valeria and the rest of the silent relatives. Mrs. Margaret, Alejandro said, stepping forward to shake my hand with deep respect. It is an honor to meet the real woman of this house. We are deeply sorry for what you endured. Thank you, Alejandro, I said. Sometimes the truth requires a dramatic entrance. The doorbell rang. It was Robert, carrying a heavy leather briefcase. Tiffany looked up, panicking. Why is there a lawyer here? Because after 5 years of emotional abuse, financial deceit, and a total lack of boundaries, I have decided to legally protect myself, I announced with absolute calm. Robert stepped forward, opening the files. Let us review the new terms. First, regarding the property testament, Mrs. Margaret has amended her will and deed. This property has been moved into an ironclad family trust. It can never be sold, mortgaged, or used as collateral by anyone, including Kevin, without Margaret's living signature. Tiffany is completely barred from any future inheritance value. Tiffany buried her face in her hands, weeping silently. Kevin looked down, utterly consumed by shame. Second, Robert continued, the terms of residency have changed. Tiffany's unrestricted access to this property is officially revoked. Any future visit must be requested 2 weeks in advance and approved in writing by Mrs. Margaret. You no longer have a key to this door. Mom, Kevin whispered. I never knew she felt this way about you. You chose not to see it, Kevin, because it made your life comfortable. You enjoyed the free dinners and the clean house without ever checking on your mother. Alejandro turned to his niece, his voice booming with authority. Tiffany, you made our entire family unwitting accomplices in abusing a woman who deserved our protection. You will pay back every dollar you fraudulently borrowed from your cousins. You will work a real job, live within your actual means, and apologize to every person in this room. If you do not, we will support Margaret in pursuing criminal charges for identity theft. I looked across the room at the remaining relatives. The clock has struck noon on Christmas Eve. Those who wish to stay for a holiday based on honesty, mutual respect, and genuine gratitude are welcome to sit at my table. Those who prefer to live in a web of manipulation can leave my house immediately. For the first time in 5 years, the air in my home was completely clean. I looked out the window at the bright winter sky, smiling. I had my house back, my son had his eyes open, and I had finally won my absolute freedom. Thank you for listening to this story. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave your thoughts on Margaret's ultimate move in the comments below.